Looking to take your ride to the next level? Wheelpros Australia has you covered. With the biggest range of performance wheels, tyres and accessories, they bring the world's most iconic brands right to your driveway. From Fuel Off-Road and KMC to Rotiform and American Racing. Whether you're chasing off-road toughness, street performance, or that perfect show-stopping style, Wheelpros has the gear to match. Don't just drive, stand out. Visit wheelpros.com.au today and find the perfect fit for your car.
Righto, everyone. We're here with episode 8 of the Lucky Dog podcast, and what an episode it's going to be. It was definitely an awesome race at Bathurst. There was so much that went on in the meantime, but really keen to cover this one off. And we probably both had different weekends, Brody. There was some highlights for you and some downsides as well, and same for me. So plenty to cover off, that's for sure.
Definitely will. I think maybe you and I probably have a battle with highlights because you ended up on the wall and I ended up taking some people out. So, and Parity. But I guess first thing is what happened to your foot? And I saw you went to the Deniliquin Ute Muster. I was meant to go with you, but I pulled out because I got a bit of a flu that I've still got and still sound terrible.
Yeah, he was being a pussy, wasn't he, Ainsley? We were into him before it. You were meant to come for about 2 weeks before, and then just didn't rock up on the day. So thanks for that. But no, I 2 days before flying out, I rolled my ankle playing touch footy. I play I think it's called OzTag every Wednesday night. And I rolled my foot, and I tore my ligament. I don't know which side, what one it is, but it's the one that like stops your foot from rolling. So in the car, it actually wasn't too bad, but I had to get in a moon boot for a few days before, because if I rolled my foot again, it would have made it just irritated it worse, made it worse for the race weekend. So I put it in a moon boot for 5-6 days before, which was good. It sort of helped it heal up, okay, and then we just strapped it for the race. So didn't actually notice it too bad in the car, which was a pretty big positive. But yeah, did that. That was actually, I was down in Denny at the Ute Muster, and the team physio called after me getting an MRI, and I thought it'd be nothing. It was pretty sore, but I thought it'd be nothing. And he's like, "Quick, go get a moon boot and put it in a moon boot." So yeah, we quickly went and did that, and then I walked around Denny all weekend in a moon boot. But that was a cool event. Ains came with me, Abby, a couple of mates came with me. Would have been nice for you to join, Brody, but it was it was a great time. I want to go next year. Like,
Yeah, it was fun.
wasn't a
It
big
was really
weekend. Like, didn't have a big weekend, did we? Because of the weekend before the big race. But yeah, you could definitely have some fun there. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I was actually looking forward to going, but yeah. I thought about maybe trying to win the race was maybe a little bit more important considering I had a flu.
Oh God. Here we go. I was just holidaying down there. I came back so relaxed. I was ready to win, but obviously I wasn't. But yeah, so did that. That was cool. Like, geez, far out. The event is crazy. Like down there, how many campers? It's literally our Bathurst fans going to Denny. Like, it was the exact same sort of fans.
yeah,
So
same demographic.
same demographic. It was awesome. We should go do more at those sort of things, and got to do a bit of circle work down there and a bit of fun. But
But you were good in times with the Camaro and the barrel. Like you wanted to have a go on the Ute, right?
I wanted to have a go. I actually wanted to see. We got to put it together next year. I wanted to verse the finals. Whoever won the weekend, I wanted to verse them in the final or like after the final, but they just had it all already nutted out, so I didn't get to do it. But that was cool. Went down there, flew back Sunday morning early because we wanted to watch the NRL Grand Final, which was an awesome game. Broncos, let's go. So got back, and then yeah, headed down for the race weekend pretty much. When did you head down? Were you down Monday?
I was down Monday, so yeah, it obviously had to go in a fair bit earlier for the I guess where you put your name in the street on the Tuesday. Stumpy, the mayor there, and had told Anaya the plaque for our name to go on the Legends Walk down Bathurst there out the front of the council and the courthouse, which is pretty cool. But it was a pretty big week for us, to be honest. Like as far as a media point of view, so we were quite busy. But, yeah, the team did a great job of making sure that we were, I guess, in shape and got good rest leading into Sunday. So Tom and I felt pretty good regardless.
Yeah, everyone talks about that because, like, I guess Reynolds, the year that he cramped up and had to hop out, he said how big the week was after being the winner the year before. And I even saw a lot of the stuff you did. It was extremely busy, but even from our side, like just I guess Red Bull do a lot of activations throughout the week, but I flew down, got the plane ready. It was a good way to get down. It took me an hour and 45 minutes. A few people were asking, so I've got a Lancer 4 and I got it ready on Monday, and all the other boys, Jamie and Scott and all that, flew down. I don't think they trust me. They never asked to come, so they all flew to Sydney Monday night, and
Probably because they got to drive to Toowoomba to take off with your wheel. It's probably not they don't trust you.
nice guy. I would have gone and got him. Come on.
Well, you didn't pick me up from the Gold Coast.
You never asked me either.
Okay, well, this is me asking.
Well, next year. So, yeah, I waited till they all flew down Monday night and then drove out Tuesday morning. So they got out there about 11, where I was lucky enough, took off 8 a.m. and an hour and 45 and I was there. So, it's a good way to go. Made it. That's the big thing every year. Do a lap around the mountain and do a flyover. But yeah, it was good to get down there. But God, it's a hectic week, hey. It's such a busy week every year. You're straight into, media stuff on Tuesday, and then that pretty much goes through straight the whole way through to the race. So,
So did you say that's what you do every year? You fly and do a lap of the track?
yep, yeah, every year. I've flown every year to Bathurst since 2018 when my first ever co-drive. I got my license. I didn't actually have my paper copy. I got my license 3 days before, and I flew to my first ever Bathurst 1000 in
You should probably
28.
change what you're doing then, because it's not working.
I'm try Yeah, I will be honest, I think the place hates me. Like, I think there's something I'm sure a lot of drivers can hate this, but I think I've done 8 now, and I've got 1 podium and finished, like, 15th or worse in every other one just due to it going wrong, so that's good, but,
I guess
Well,
big
there was
news.
a
what's that, Ains?
Oh, go ahead, Ains. This is your podcast.
no, sorry. I was just gonna say, Will, did you do a flyover? Because there was heaps of comment on the Instagram asking about it.
Yeah, I got down there, I wound it up, or wound the prop up, made it sound good, and did a few laps around the mountain before I got there, so, I used to do that. I think I just looking at it, I was trying to get the mountain to want me to win. Come on, I'm worshipping you or something, whatever. I don't know. Just trying to be nice to the place because it never is to me, but it's not working. You got to treat it mean next time. Something.
Yeah, I reckon you probably should just change what you're doing, Will, because it's not working. I guess leading into the Bathurst week, pretty big news coming out. Perkat retiring.
Yeah.
I heard there was a little bit of, I guess, he wanted to come out and do his last Bathurst, and I guess celebrate his full-time career. And I think maybe the team wanted to sort of hold off and wait for his announcement, but I just said from Nick's point of view, he wanted to just enjoy his last few rounds as a full-time driver, and I guess people were asking him if he was going to be racing next year, so he just wanted to get it out early. So makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I think that I don't know. Nick's career for me has been a disappointing end because I think he is a really good driver. You look at what he did throughout those few years, like went across to BJR, and I think unfortunately, I think if he stayed at BJR, he probably would have had the best career he had. But he took the path that I think should have given him the best opportunity with Walkinshaw, and something just didn't click there, did it? He actually got worse results and then moved up to MSR, and he's won a few races there and everything, but I don't really know what's going on in that team for them to not want Nick after losing Cam. Like, Cam Hill's been doing a really good job. He's obviously, I guess, just, I guess the dollar figure or something's better at BJR or, yeah, something. But I really thought you'd want to keep Perkat because I don't think he's doing too bad of a job. He knows how to set up a car and all of that sort of stuff. So it's going to be interesting for them who they get and rookies and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I watched his video. Did you watch his video when he announced his retirement?
I did, yeah. I actually,
I don't know. Just didn't seem like a positive video to me. It seemed like I sort of felt bad for him. I don't know. I just felt like he's achieved a fair bit and could have achieved more. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the end of the road for main game for him. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where he falls for a co-drive. That'll be interesting.
should we announce it here? Him with Bro?
I don't even know about that, to be honest. So you can announce it if you want, but I haven't heard that. I would think Jamie after his Bathurst, how good of a job he did pretty good job there, especially in the wet running and all that. I would think he'd go again. So I actually, to be honest, I don't know. But
Did he call the wet tires or the slicks? Who chose to put slicks on that car?
Marty chose to put slicks on that car. That was more the team decision. But we put wets on at the time because we got a Cooper and Scott Clyde, and we got a flat going over the top. So we had a flat front left, and I said, just put the wets on. We're already going to be nowhere. And we were going to actually pit when Marty didn't put slicks back on. We are like, oh, it's drying up. And I'm like, this rain's got to come. Like, please come. And the spotter rang and said, heavy drops 1 kilometer away. And I'm like, oh, here we go. We're on. So we left ours on, but yeah, I think that we struggled in the wet for the first couple of stints, which was disappointing.
Yeah, right. And I guess another big talking point was the Pastrana Jim Carter filming across the mountain. So I saw like a little bit of the filming happen on track walk when they were going like under the bridge, sort of around Conrod, and he was sort of driving the Subi through there. But is that like a full New South Wales thing? Are they doing that across?
Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to him a fair bit. He messaged me saying like we'll catch up on the day, and then I ended up doing that stuff with him driving next to him. I don't know. Did you guys do anything with him in the end?
TD did, but our car didn't.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think it's just one of those Jim Carter videos, but they are doing it across New South Wales. I think they were going out west straight after us, and so yeah, it was pretty cool. Like that car build was crazy. It had DRS like where it could move the wings on the back, but also on the front. It had all these like the build of it was crazy. And I was talking to the Subaru guys, and they actually sorry, my cat's just going crazy and jumping around. They actually keep all the cars, so they don't sell them. So it was cool. It was great to get supercars involved in it because I think it's such a big thing every time it comes out. So for us to be a part in it and for them to want us to be was cool. But I was talking to him and he's like, far out, this track is crazy. He's like, I've seen it, but he's like coming here and actually driving around it. He's like, it's mental. So I don't believe he hadn't been there before.
Really?
So
So this is his first time.
yeah, that's what I was asking him, and he said it was his first time there, which is you'd think over the years, but I guess he hasn't really done any like sort of tarmac stuff, has he?
No, not really. But like, do you remember the first time going to the mountain and trying to walk down Skyline?
Yeah.
And you're like, just like, what in the actual beep? Like a car's going to go down here.
No, well, you think about it every time. Like to be honest, when each year for the last 2 years, you walk around and you go, this place is crazy. But then there's been a big tailwind over Skyline. Have you noticed that? Every time coming
No,
over Skyline.
no, not a little bit, but not necessarily.
Yeah, every time for us in practice 1, like on practice 2, I find that, like, we get a bit light over Skyline and you get that bit edgy over the top, and I don't maybe it's just the new cars, the old cars with the extra aero, I didn't used to notice it, but you get that bit edgy over the top and you start having a bit of a slide, and I'm like, "Oh god, this could really end bad if you lost it down the hill," but it's just one of those places, like, we're lucky that our cars are safe, but also prepped as well as they are for that place because you wouldn't you wouldn't wanna have a failure around there, like, it is wild.
Oh, I most definitely. I think probably I'm. I knew that there was like a bit of a tailwind, but the soft tire this year, you're driving so much harder to the like apex of Skyline.
It's
I
ridiculous.
just like I thought I was dead at least like 5 times throughout the weekend. To be
Yeah,
honest, like I was yeah.
Reynolds literally said that in the after the wet and that, and I was literally the same. Like the place, I feel like every year you like in the old car with the aero, like we had good qualifyings there as well in the old car and we're fast, but it felt like more of a controlled lap. I'd say it felt like you put a lap down like in a GT3 car where you didn't have big moments or that sort of stuff, but you more just put a lap down. It was tidy, but it was fast. Where in this car, you feel like you like get the lock line, you get loose, and you're like, oh, far out. Like you have so many moments, I feel like, throughout the weekend that makes it I don't know, it makes it pretty it gets the adrenaline going, that's for sure. But obviously, you know it better than anyone because I need to pick your brain. How'd you go three poles over the last 3 years? That's I didn't even realize that until they put it out. I forgot about that. So you polled it with Erebus in 23.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, 23, then last year, and then this year again. But yeah, obviously you haven't done a tidy and a fast lap, so that's why it doesn't feel tidy or fast.
That is fucking offensive. But so fair, so fair. No, I was watching your onboard. Your laps were impressive. Like to go back to back 3 years in a row and not make a mistake around there in shootout laps, it shows, sort of what level you're on, but also not making those mistakes. Like I feel like it's easy to get, well, not easy to get in the shootout. I didn't get in, but it's easy to get in throughout the years into the shootout. But then to actually go pole, usually I find someone just rags a big lap one year. Like I thought Waters' lap was pretty good. I thought he actually might get it. Like you could see he had a big crack, but yeah, to go back to back 3 years in a row. If you went again next year, what would that mean? Would you be the only person for 4 years in a row?
Be the only person. Yeah, so tied. Yeah, tied. I think Richards and I remember who the other two are on the top of my head. Got a bit of brain fog this morning, but yeah, it was obviously a pretty cool moment. But doing it, I guess, with a different team this year. But I've got obviously the same people around me that influence a lot of the performance of the car with George and Tommy. But yeah, it was a really cool feeling after the pole lap and celebrating with the team, and then walking back with Jilly Johnson was really cool as well. So that was a really special moment. DJ had to go back to the room and go have a cold one because he was way too nervous and couldn't watch apparently, which was hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome. No, did George cry?
Nah, George isn't that emotional anymore about qualifying. He just said, he goes, I just expect it now. I went, oh, okay, all right.
We've ruined it for him. We've got to tell you this story, Ains, and everyone will love it. But so Brodie's had obviously the three back-to-back poles, but we'll go back to 2022 when we both qualified in the shootout. Was it 22 or 21?
21.
21, sorry. Brodie qualifies in the shootout, and George is like, Brodie does a lap in the shootout. He's like fifth out, and it's pretty good lap. We're like, far out. That's impressive. It was like 3/10 quicker than anyone at the time. And George cried, and we're like, and George is crying, and he's like, so happy. And we're like, that actually might be pole. The next 5 guys go out and beat it. So he came 6th or 5th, Brodie did, and George had cried about it. So about, I don't know, for about till now, we still rip on him about it as a joke. But he was just, I think he was just so happy that he, I guess they probably wouldn't. I guess he came across and from Kelly's and had some pretty good results straight away. Which excited about the front, but it was a pretty funny moment. He still
Yeah, it was a funny moment. So and then they Supercars had a camera on him full time in the garage. So he was really like I could tell he wanted to let emotion out during my lap. Like he does like the hammer fist like on the remember his hammer fist? Because you've obviously sat out of a few shootouts and watched me there. So he wanted to get the hammer fist on a couple of times I saw, but he was really out the corner of his eye to this TV camera, which is pretty funny. Lancaster Motor Group is excited to announce their KTM 450 dirt bike giveaway. From now until the 23rd of December 25, if you purchase 1,000 or more worth of accessories on a new or used vehicle over our 4x4 store counter or in the workshop, you will get an entry into our KTM 450 dirt bike draw. To find out more, head to lancastermotors.com.au. Another big thing was Tickford taking out the Super 2 title. Did you watch any of the Super 2 on the weekend? Because I kept a pretty close eye on it. And Lockie Dalton was pretty impressive, which was pretty cool. And those Tickford cars dominated the whole weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's cool that Tickford took it out. I actually didn't even know, to be honest, that happened. I thought that so who took it out around early?
Ains?
No one took it out around early. It's just
Constructors.
It's just and one of their drivers will win the next one.
Yeah,
because they're top.
The gap's too big for anyone else.
Are they top 4 in the championship or top 3?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know what to take a Super 2 this year because this is actually pumping Tickford up, but I think they've just done a way better job with their cars. Like, to be honest, like they've always been at the front. They've been qualifying pole with their 4 drivers or top 4 all the time. So I think it's a little bit like when we raced the Nissan back in the day, Brody, that they were just always did such a good job that year that to beat them, you had to do an exceptional job or drive exceptionally. It's been a really weird year of Super 2. Like, those guys are doing a fantastic job and it'll be cool to see who wins it. But yeah, I think Tickford are just killing it in that space, and I think they've got good drivers is one big thing, but I think that they've really got those cars doing a good job. So yeah, it'll be interesting. How many points do we know? How many points between like Lockie Dalton and Ryland Gray going in the last round?
Yeah, so Ryland's on 1,299. I have to do some math here. Lockie's on 1,152. Ash is on 1,143, and then Ruben's on 1,068.
So Ryland's just got to not screw it up. He's a race
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
Just gonna roll around. Interesting.
That'll be
Well,
interesting.
yeah. That'll be interesting to see and good to follow going in the last round. I think everyone should get behind Super 2. I think it's always cool to watch. It was good to watch it there. It's once again it shows it's a little bit hard to pass. Like I didn't see much passing going on the weekend in Super 2. So hopefully we see a bit of action at Adelaide, but we definitely saw action. Actually, I was just thinking about we saw action when Chaz and Randall balked me in the last corner. Did you see me spin?
Yeah, to be honest, like I'm not surprised that you spun.
I hate this podcast. I hate it, Ainsley. I'm gonna retire from my own podcast. No, I
You didn't
kind
even
of
let me
spun
finish
on.
my sentence.
Oh, okay, go.
I'm not surprised you spun because it was pretty like what actually happened because was actually I should tell this story. So I assume that Chaz was angry with Randall because Randall was probably blocking him for 3/4 of the outlap. Is that what happened?
Oh, I don't know. To be honest, you're gonna like me for this, but I don't know if it was Randall's fault. So I came out of the lane, like I was on a race run and I was, you know how you get on a race run and then you're actually about to go faster on the race run? I was like, oh, look at me go. I'm gonna go faster here. So I wanted to get on with it and just go past them. And then I would have done the nice thing and rolled off up Mountain Straight and let them go because you don't want to ruin their shootout sims. But I noticed I was right behind, like I was getting close to Chaz, like 10 car lengths off down Conrod Straight, but Randall was still like 10 car lengths in front of him. So I thought Chaz would probably pull over, let me go, at the chase or something, pull over on the left, I pass, and then Randall might do that in the last corner, and then I let them go. But I think Chaz noticed me and was like, no, I don't want my shootout lap to be. I don't want to risk Will holding me up on my shootout lap, which I'm allowed to do. I could have driven around in front of him 10 car lengths ahead and not let him go. So he tried getting on with it, and then Randall didn't obviously notice I was there. So Randall didn't want him to go past, but Randall also wanted to set up his lap. So Chaz tried to pass Randall, and Randall blocked him down in the last corner. And then I think Chaz at that time noticed I was too close. He was like, "Oh shit, Will's too close." So he pulled hard left to let me go, but I'd committed to go left. Like I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go left." And then when I saw him pull left, I'm like, "Well, I actually didn't swerve straight away because as for for people at home, but you would probably know, is that, you're scared that the car, once they pull left, they're actually weaving and they're gonna weave back to the right. So I was like, "If he weaves back to the right and I swerve right, we're gonna collect each other hard here." So I kinda broke. He saw me brake straight ahead towards him because 'cause I'm like, I wanna just brake towards him and last minute move because I feel like I don't know which way he's gonna go right now. Like, I can't judge it. So I broke, and then I'm like, "Oh, no, he's not gonna swerve." So I swerved and got like a bit of a tank slapper up, and then got on the grass, and then I sort of got off the grass, and then my did you notice how bad the tyres were if you dropped a wheel?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so that's why you can't let someone go at the end of the lap because once you warm your tires up, if you drive offline, your first half your lap is done. So
Yeah.
even if you start your lap and you are on the white line, like coming off the exit of the last corner, you know how there's the access road right near the start finish line?
Yep.
If you carried your right sides on that dirty part of the road, turn one would just be like you're on like ice skates.
Literally. So so I just sort of recovered and then like kind of had a wobble and came back on and I was like, oh yeah, I won't spin now. Or should I go down the escape road? Nah. And then it just started sliding. And I was like, I'm not going in the gravel. I might as well just spin here. So just sort of let it go. Did a spin. Thought it'd look cool on TV, which it did. But yeah, that was interesting. But you're exactly right. Like I can't remember what laps it was. I think it was actually during the race. I dropped a wheel off at the last corner twice, and got down to turn one, broke, and lost the rear, and nearly ran down the escape road. Like I tried weaving down the straight, how we do to get a little bit of the stuff off. But if you drop any wheels off, it's like this tire must just yeah, it
And it
must just
just everything
fucking
sticks to
burn
it.
onto it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. But yeah, like through like P1 and P2, I was like really inconsistent into turn one and I couldn't figure out if it was like I thought it was the car doing something a bit weird. And then I thought about it a bit more and then like obviously use as much track as possible the last corner. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try not use the exit curb. And it was like the car was fine. And I'm like, wow, like I was pretty blown away like how sensitive it was to a bit of pickup or a bit of dirt on the tire.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what I was worried about actually, to be honest, like over the top, over McMillamy, where sometimes you drop a wheel off there or two wheels off there. And the old tire, I didn't seem to notice it as much. You could still attack down the hill as hard as you wanted. But then this new tire definitely feels, yeah, it just gets really slippery quickly when you drop a wheel off. So even down the hill, I was a couple of times nervous to, once you, like, I only dropped a wheel off once there, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to attack down the hill as hard. But, Yeah, it was yeah, it was interesting, but what else have we got? Are we going into the race now, or I don't even know, sorry, got lost. Ainsley, come in, Ainsley, help me. I just woke up.
Your podcast? No, I think we should dig into the pre-race stuff and even pre-shootout. I think it was Brody, or maybe after
Yeah.
the shootout. Your chat with Larko,
Let's
your press conference starts, and I think the podcast plugs was probably pretty good as well.
Yeah, well, what one do you want to start with first, Will? The post qualifying or the Larko chat?
you whinging like a little. Oh, sorry, that'll be all. Which one? Which one was the two? I think start with the press conference. That came first, so I didn't actually see. I heard about the press conference because obviously Jamie and Brock were there and came back, so I heard about that. So that was interesting. So yeah, talk us through. I guess from I would say we would what was your instructions? Was that from you or was that your team wanting you to push as well for the change? Like what was the big thing there, I guess?
No, I wasn't instructed to say anything, but I did have all the facts. Like I could be different to some drivers, but I'm pretty across everything when it comes to, I guess, like stuff to do with that team and, with what's going on. And I was across all the stuff that was going on leading into the event, with some of the Parity stuff, because, things were promised, that were going to get tested, and that's been, on the bingo cards since the start of the year, but it got left quite late, and that was all to do with the barometric pressure testing, which is all pretty technical. It's probably hard for some people to understand, but basically the easiest way to put it is if you take if you were to take an engine and run it at sea level and then take it 700 meters up in altitude, it loses horsepower. So, and the two motors, there was a few theories that after the temperature testing, that the two motors wouldn't respond to altitude the same, which happened to be the case. A report was done from head of powertrains, which was Craig Hasted. It was presented to, people higher up than him from Supercars. It was done that late that GM had to sign off on it, which I'm not sure how GM can, have to sign off on something that's a parity matter. But that's sort of the stuff that was happening leading into the round. So I was pretty aware of all that. And we could tell from practice that, I mean, it's sort of hard to tell, but on average in practice, all the Fords were considerably slower than the GMs down the straight. Now, you don't really know what everyone's fuel loads are, what they're doing, vice versa, but there was a pretty common trend going. And it was pretty frustrating, I guess, just being a part of like that process. And I guess I'm probably a little bit different than most. Like our team and other Ford teams have been a part of this now for coming to the mountain for 3 years now. So, and it was pretty obvious last year that the Fords weren't competitive in the race, and the year before they weren't even relevant at all. And it's not particularly anyone's fault, but at the same time, going to this year, there was a pretty strong direction given, like this testing needs to be done, and there was evidence that there was a difference, and nothing was done about it leading to the race. So it was pretty frustrating from my point of view, and I guess that's where all the stuff from the press conference come from, because it was a good opportunity to get it all out there. The report was then sent out to other teams, and everyone had access to it. Journos, within Supercars, well, actually not journos, TV presenters had access to it, and yet they'd failed to, acknowledge that it existed, which was pretty funny. So the whole thing was pretty comical to me, to be honest.
So from the other side, I guess from the Chevy side is what would the plan be? Like you talk about the barometric pressure being different at Bathurst, but so you guys would want an upgrade for there, and then you take it away for somewhere like Gold Coast that is at sea level.
Correct.
That's what you guys
Yep.
put forward.
Yeah, correct. So, well, that's not what we put forward. That's what Craig Hested put forward, which is the director of powertrains.
So I'm just trying to think, because I do the flying and that, so it'd probably perform better like a turbo kart if it was a really cold day compared to a hot day, is what you're kind of
Well,
thinking.
that's what used to happen is when it was extremely cold, like at Tasmania, the Ford would perform better in, say, like a qualifying situation because the inlet temperature was cold. But in Australia, most of our races are on the hotter side, so the Ford was at a quite a large disadvantage when the air was hot because it's all air density, and you can go into it quite technically. I can, no problem, because my background for my family was engines, so I have a pretty good understanding of all this. And yeah, like at the end of the day, it wasn't our team that found out that there was a difference. It was someone that worked within supercars, and yet the way that it was portrayed on TV from, I guess, Scaife and I guess Larko and a few others, no one seemed to want to acknowledge that this report existed, which was pretty funny, and it got sent out to other teams. So I don't really see, I guess, treating your fans like they're idiots. It doesn't really go down too well. And for me, I was pretty vocal about it, and it was actually pretty funny because when I was on the drivers' parade, there was so many different reactions. There was like cheers, then I got mooned, I got called a fucking wanker. But like, to me, I didn't mind because like at least people were passionate. Like, and it caused like such a big shitstorm, but like so much passion come out, and it was actually pretty good for me to see that people actually still are passionate. I think that's what we've been missing.
Yeah, I think you definitely saw from you definitely hyped up the media, and I think you saw that there was still Ford and GM fans. There's no doubt about that. When they used to say that Ford and Holden's dead, it's definitely not dead, because you could see everyone firing up. The hardest thing, I think, looking from our point of view, and I guess I know what you're going to come back with and all of that, but on the actual one lap pace, when everyone should be on the same fuel, like you can't go off practice. Like, when we run, it's crazy. Like, when you run 30 kilos more fuel around the place, you lose like a tenth and a half, 2/10 up Mountain Straight, like just dragging it up there, or 40 kilos, you just lose so much time going up there. So pretty much looking at the shootout, which you were first down Conrod and second up Mountain Straight, which were the two straight areas that the Fords were, and I think the next Ford was like third or fourth in that sector. So on an actual even playing field, the motors didn't look too bad. Like your speeds were the same down the straight as ours. So why do you?
Yeah, but the
obviously you
the
got
other argument the other argument there is too is that I was 4 tenths ahead of the next Camaro, and I'm only just even down the straights.
Yeah, but I don't know. You can't be getting that good. I know you'll say you're good, but you can't be getting that better of an exit of everyone, I don't think, because I think that I don't know. I'm not saying there's no problem in any way. Like, I don't know. I'm not as over the top of it as you, but I just, from the commentator's point of view, I'm more saying is I'm probably more like a commentator. I'm not as completely over it. I've seen the report and seen what they were saying and all of that sort of stuff. But when you actually looked at the numbers online, it didn't look as bad. But on the other side, when you go into the race, I find that I could be wrong, but I find being in a Camaro, there's something with the way your wake creates off the back of, like, the wake from the aero creates, that sucks us along. Because behind another Camaro or next to a Mustang, like if we come out of the corner next to a Mustang, you don't just pass them easily down the straight. Like if you're in the side draft or you're next to them and you just do a drag race, you don't just pass them easily down the straight. But if you get behind them and tow, you get a massive tow on them. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you get a really good tow, but it's not motor. Like, you get next to them and you don't have that.
Yeah, but what you're talking about now is a completely separate issue, because a weight coming off another car and a tow, that's literally another separate issue. But 5 laps into the race, when actually I should say 5 laps into the second stint, when there was some clear air, Todd was a tenth down on Mountain Straight to the Camaros and was 2 tenths down on Conrod with no toes.
Yeah.
So we're 3 tenths down on engine, and it was literally all Camaros down Mountain Straight, and then all the Fords, and then Conrod was all Camaros, then the Fords, and it was 3 tenths a lap in the race
Yeah, it's interesting.
on the micros. So that's and funnily enough, that's pretty much when you sim the graph that was sent out from the Ford to the GM at altitude. That was the deficit. So
Yeah.
it's pretty, like, that's pretty hard to argue, and all those are theories. And yeah, there could be bigger weight that comes off the car because that hasn't been tested. But at the same time, those were facts that were presented, and they correlated to the deficit that was on track. So yeah, but the rain shook up the race anyway.
It's becoming a bit like, because I sit on both fences, I feel like now, because, for me, the biggest thing is that we're switching to forward. So I actually want to make sure it's right for next year. You know what I mean? It's over for this year, obviously, but for us, we want to improve it. But not sure how much I can say, but it's one of those things like really our team and your team need to be on the same page because we're going to be working together next year. And I feel like there's a little bit of, is it the engine or is it the aero? Like there's been this argument for so long, and our team's going to take over the homologation side of it, and they'll want to make sure it's correct and all of that sort of stuff. But it'll be interesting to see the right page with it all, and see if it's an aero thing or a engine thing. Obviously, the report, I'm not sure if we can show it. I think Scott's got it, and he said he was going to show it. I've got it there, but it did show a little like from their report, a little bit at high end, top end. But yeah, it'll be interesting going forward because we obviously want it to be correct as well. It's only going to benefit all of us next year, but who knows?
So what you're saying is it's okay for it to be what it is this year, but next year when you swap, it's got to be right.
Well, no. As a
Yeah,
driver,
that's what you just said.
No, not what I said at all. But we didn't actually
Clip that up, Haynes.
We honestly don't. Our team doesn't believe that was that it's an engine deficiency, and that's the problem that probably you guys have is that you've got GM teams have to sign off, and some GM teams don't believe GM teams believe you guys with being able to change your aero and all of that you guys have got more aero somewhere, and that creates more drag usually, and then there's the argument that the engine's worse. So there's a lot of arguments going on, but it's trying to filter through. Obviously, every team in supercars tries getting the most they can, the most aero, the most engine, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I actually don't know personally. As you know, I'm not on top of all this stuff. I just drive the car. You're more on top of it all. But yeah, I don't think anyone's agreed on what they actually think it is, if it's aero or if it's engine. And like I said, we got to get on top of it because we're driving the cars for next year if there is a deficit. Yeah, I don't know. I noticed I could tow up. Like honestly, I could tow up a bit easier on them, but if I was side by side, I couldn't just catch as easily down the straight.
Yeah. Well, we can't really tow up to anyone, so it's good.
Brody, what do you say? There's like a lot of comments, and obviously passion's different to hate on social media, which we spoke about with Hayden last episode. But there's people asking then, if you say that about the Fords this year, what about your last 2 wins in a Chevy? Like, does that?
Oh, well, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's like, why would you go and ask, and I said this in the press conference, why would you go ask the other team that you're versing, which it's like Ford versus GM, to give up an advantage? So at the same time, like I never complained about parity issues when I was in the GM, not once, because, well, you didn't need to because it was up. And that's pretty clear. And that's why I've been pretty vocal this year, because everyone looks at everything, and that's what the broadcast did too. They go, oh, look at the shootout. It's so close. It's the closest ever, so everything's okay. Well, this year, the Fords, I guess there's been more Fords up in the championship than Camaros, but at the same time, Triple Eight is a very good team. And when the last time I was in a Camaro, I felt like I was closer to what T8 was, or if not, I was able to beat them like on our day, and that's how we ultimately won the championship in 23. And towards the back end of last year, like one Gold Coast, I felt pretty good at Adelaide and vice versa. Until Will turned in on me and got me a penalty, but this year it's everyone looks at everything. If you stay to the facts, the answers are there. But if you don't and you let people go off and form opinions and get it all really muddy, that's when you end up with shit shows like pretty much like how it was on the weekend until it basically started raining. It was going to be the world's boringest race. Like it was just going to be the two T8 cars drive off into the distance. But I don't know. There's still a lot of passionate fans out there. I don't really doesn't really sort of bother me that people come out and say whatever. Like that's what you need in sport. Like you go to an AFL game or an NRL game and you go kick a goal and they swap sides and you've got to go against the fans from the other team. Like it's just passion.
Can you find us some of the best comments and read them out to us? Like,
well, the biggest one that I saw was just like, oh, like a so-called cry or whatever. But I'm living rent free in your head, buddy. So all good.
You'd actually thrive on it. I've obviously had you as a teammate for a few years, and people are like, oh, Brody talking about parity all weekend. I'm like, he actually kind of thrives on this sort of stuff. To be honest, he'll probably actually go better. So it's interesting, but it was I guess covered off that side of it. It's disappointing, to be honest, that Parity's still a big talking point 3 years on. You know, I thought the shootout was really cool, how close it was. But hopefully next year, if there is anything that needs to be fixed, that they get it done, because I think it's just disappointing for the whole category talking about Parity every year. But it's interesting. I think it's cool to hear that, you know, pretty much there needs to be what you're saying is you want to change for Bathurst and then change it back for lower altitude rounds.
No, well, it's not what I want. It's what the head of powertrains wants, which is Craig Hasted, who works for Supercars.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
that's what everyone gets. That's what everyone gets really confused about, and that's what Scave should go and do his homework for.
But what I'm saying is, you think going into Gold Coast, you got as good of opportunity as us and Adelaide and Sandown. They're at sea level, so you think that you don't need a change for them.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Write a story about that Speed Cafe. But no, that's fair. That's good. That's good to know that they're, you know, it's interesting data to look at. We've obviously, like we say, we've all seen the report. So biggest thing is we're going into the finals now. So the guys that have made it through, hopefully then we all believe that we've all got equal opportunity going through the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And
Brody, we still want to know who made the chicken sandwich with too much mayonnaise or aioli or whatever it was you said in the press conference.
you know what? I was sitting there and I'm going to get another question about Parity, and obviously I'm just going to be regurgitating the same, like the same stuff basically, because I was only sticking straight to the facts that I knew basically. So I'm like, all right, if someone asked me a question, what am I going to say? And I was like, I'm just going to talk about what I had for lunch.
I didn't even hear this part.
Wait, didn't you hear it?
No.
So I got asked, I think Speed Cafe asked they were waiting for a clickbait headline, and I
It's
was
on
like,
our Instagram.
and I said, if you want to find out about any of the Parity stuff, and, you know, I guess leading to this round, we spoke about on Lucky Dogs, plugged it on Apple, Spotify. And I was like, I also had a chicken sandwich for lunch. I had a little bit too much aioli, so I'm going to fix that up for tomorrow. And everyone was like, what?
They're like, this guy has lost the plot.
That was the plan. Join Supercars Travel for the ultimate motorsport adventure in New Zealand, with back-to-back race weekends in Taupō and Christchurch. Official travel packages includes tickets, accommodation, unforgettable event and tourism experiences, plus much more. Packages are selling fast, so head to travel.supercars.com/NZ to secure your spot today.
Oh, okay. Well, how long do you have? What time do you have to fly out? Brody's in Sydney.
I've got 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay. So we got to get into the race. So what a race. I reckon that's got to be the best race nearly ever at Bathurst. I know people will argue, but that obviously disappointing for both of us. But I think from, you know, we're also fans of the sport. We love being part of it and all that. But I think even when we don't have a great result, we can respect that it was probably the best race I've seen. When I was laps down, I was actually watching the race. I worked out where all the TVs were around the track that I could watch, and I was watching the race. But it had everything, like you say, like the start. We started 12th. You're obviously on pole. It was dry for what? What was it dry for? 2.5 stints. 3?
Yeah, it was dry when I just got in. So Todd did 2.25 stints.
Yeah. And so we pretty much, Scott actually, he I think he dropped back to 13th off the start, but towards the end of that stint, we had pretty good tyre life, and our dry car was phenomenal. He drove up to 7th, and then I drove up to 2nd. I think just before it started raining, I just got you came out of the pits on Scott.
Yeah, I came out of the pits on Scott, and we had like 6 seconds of fuel on you guys. So
yeah, that's right. So it's interesting because that's something that the fans probably, I don't know if they report on that as good as they need to, because it's pretty hard to follow, but people obviously take different amount of fuels and all that. Like if we know that if we think we were faster than you, but you might have a bit more fuel and jump us, we actually short fuel, get in front of you, and then hope we drive away the 6 seconds and then can fill and stay ahead of you guys. So everyone was doing a little bit different with fuel, but then we knew the rain was coming, and far out did it spice up the race. Pretty much everyone that was really competitive in the dry and you thought might win it just had shit go wrong. That was pretty much what happened.
There was a point in the race that everyone in bar 2 cars in the top 10 of the championship were crashed or laps down.
Yeah, literally. It was like
so it was Cam, Anton, myself, you, Brock,
Waters,
Woody,
Charles.
were all out at one point.
So there was
Laps
literally
down.
like the top 8 in the championship, apart from Matt Payne, were gone.
Yep, correct.
We should have just driven around. Like, we're pretty stupid, to be honest, as drivers. Like, we should have just, you think, I've got to be leading at all times. And I was in 5th, and it was, well, I guess we'll talk about when the actual rain came down and it was that heavy and that safety car restart. I was saying to someone, if you put a passenger in with us, a random fan, they would think we are mad. Like, I was going down Conrod. I was going up Mountain Straight, couldn't see, but I was going down Conrod, and the spray off all the cars in front, and I was in 5th, so I don't know what it was like when you were back in 20th, but like if someone was back in 20th, but I was in 5th, and I couldn't actually see because the spray was that high. So in front of me, I couldn't see. My side windows were fogged up a bit, but all I knew was that there was a marshal box before you had to turn into the chase, and I couldn't see the guy's brake lights in front of me. So you're flat out at 270 kilometers an hour, literally can't see a thing apart from just spray, and you're just looking out your side window trying to find out when you think you might have to turn in. It's pretty crazy. We need to try and get some of that on board to show how little a vision there was out there. And to be honest, I think the guys that didn't put a foot wrong or crash, even the guys that did, it was so easy to make a mistake. But people like Golding, I was actually hoping Golding won. I think he did such a good job and didn't make a mistake. I think he deserved it, but it was so easy to run off. Like, there was aquaplaning. I just straight away locked at turn 2 and went in the fence, and then wore my bonnet around on my roof like a shield.
Well, that's all. I locked the front in the Kai, and like, how bad is it when you lock? Like, I look like I didn't even brake.
The chopper footage from above, the onboard of you taking Kai out, I just cannot stop laughing about it. Like, I feel bad for Kai, but you just come from like 6 car lengths back, and I've had that feeling in the car. Like, you're just not even in control. You're just locked and you can't release it or anything. You literally, like, I think you nearly went through him. Like, the poor bugger, he would have got whiplash going into turn 1.
Well, I was that hard into the back of him, I could see his fuel tank.
I think 3 or 4 people got penalties for taking Kai out, and they weren't even trying to, the poor
Well,
bugger.
because you took him out too, like 3 laps later.
He broke into turn 1 and just doored me and just like hit me that hard on the restart because I had no drive. And then I didn't even try and take him out. I just locked into the chase, and I was trying to unlock to actually go past him because I was like, if I hit him here, I'm going to get a fair bit of damage to my car. So I released the brake.
You can't unlock it.
Nah, you can't unlock it. So I released the brake to try and roll past and off the track, but just didn't even really unlock. And then I just smacked into him. I got a flat front tire, took him off the track. I thought, this poor bugger's having the worst day ever, and it's not even his fault. But the conditions, like, I'm trying to.
He still finished 8th too.
Yeah, he actually didn't do bad for everyone hitting him. So sorry about that, Kai. You definitely got touched up out there, that's for sure. But there was heaps of crashes. Like, I didn't see Anton's one till after.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was big. I didn't see Woody's. Like, Woody hit the fence at the cutting and kept going.
How does that work?
He reckons he just bent 2 rims and then kept going, and he was in the lead of the race.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. Like, it was literally, well, they did a fantastic job, but it was nearly luck where, like, everyone made mistakes or locked the front and just got away with it, and some didn't. But it was so wet out there. I actually thought at one stage that they might. I knew only because it was Bathurst, the 1000, that they weren't going to stop it. But if that was at another track, they nearly would have. I reckon they nearly would have.
But they shouldn't though, because like, if you're scared, just drive slower.
I was scared, but I wasn't driving slow.
Yeah, but like, I was a few shit myself on a few spots, but I just drove slower. But that's what made the race, was like people running off, safety cars, re-rack them, go again. That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, like you say, it is right, because there was people that did probably drive a little bit slower and last to the end and get top 5s or maybe podiums or that sort of stuff, where the top 5 probably that should have been up there all pushed so hard that they ended up crashing and not even finishing up there. So it was the best race. Like, I was watching it back. I watched it back at the pub that night. They had it on TV and all the highlights and that. But if anyone says that was a boring race or something about supercars you see online, like, yeah, it's you literally can't say it. I reckon that was. I don't think there could be a race in any category around the world this year that beats that 1000.
Yeah, I would. That's probably going to be one of my favorite races when you go back and watch the highlights. Like, that was pretty nuts. But did you see my battle with Cam?
Yeah, that battle, I was just going to bring that up. I was actually pissed off that I wasn't out there in these battles. Like, these battles were so cool, and to be a part of them would have been awesome. But I was actually watching that battle with Cam, and you used some good racecraft there. Like, from watching from the outside, when he got you, and then you went the outside at the cutting and passed him back straight away. I was like,
It
no
was
way.
it was so hard to lead because like it was literally like it was raining and we're on slicks and you don't know how hard to drive.
Yeah.
And I started having like that's when I started having alternator issues. So like my dash was um not turning off, but I was having alarms come up. So like I was losing lock lights. And for us to put that in perspective, if we lose our lock lights and it starts raining, like that's just like the worst case scenario you could have for a drama. So I'd be getting ready to go into the chase, and I'd get battery low alarm and just have all these purple lights come up on my shift light module, and I'm like, oh well, that's how I ran off. Was I got the alarm and I had no lock lights, and I just locked the front and just drove straight off.
I
So
wish.
and then Cam gets in front, outbrakes himself for last corner, and then I'm back on his bumper again, and I was like half a kilometer back after I ran off. And then we have a full battle for like the first half lap, and I could not stop laughing in the car. Like I was actually laughing because I thought for sure like 5 times we were gonna DNF and block the track and crash the whole field. So I don't know. It was a pretty cool thing, but yeah, I enjoyed that. Cam and I had a pretty good laugh about it afterwards. But yeah, our race sort of ended pretty soon after that with the alternator failing eventually. So we had to go back into the pits and put an alternator in it. So we went 14 laps down, and there was that many safety cars. We only ended like 5 or 6 laps down. So we got majority of them back. I just need to find more.
Yeah.
You did all the lucky dogs. You were a
That's
lucky
it.
dog.
I should have got in the car earlier because I was like, oh, it's crazy out there. My car's done. And I hopped out of the car, and then they're like, oh, hop back in and we're done. If I got out there only 4 laps down. I probably could have got out there 2 or 3 laps down and got back on the lead lap. But I was like, oh, well, I thought the car was worse than what it was with the rear wing and all that ripped off and that I'd done more damage, but it actually wasn't. And with how many safety cars, like Brock was 3 laps down, got on the lead lap and finished 6th.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Like he's stuck in the wall for like friggin' 4 laps or something, and then he gets towed back out, and he's back in for a chance to win it on the last restart.
How crazy is that? But that one when you ran off at the chase though, you come back on, thread the needle, like switch Woody back into the last corner. I was like, that was like textbook, but it was just I was like, oh, he's gonna run too deep here, switching Woody back. But the racing was. I'm gonna watch it all back today, but the racing was crazy. Like I think I also saw some TV numbers, and the TV numbers were pretty awesome.
Yeah, I saw it was like 3 mil on 7 or 2. Yeah, I think 2.9 or 3 mil on 7. It was only 1.1 on Fox.
Yeah, but that was like I think it equated to they said whatever they had, I think it was 3.7 on 7 and it equated to 5 million, which is pretty impressive because like the AFL, AFL and NRL grand final got around 6.3, so it was about 1 million off them, which for us that's pretty good. But I've also been into a lot of shops already at Toowoomba. Just when I got back yesterday, went and did a bit of stuff, and so many people were talking about. Like I think more than ever, I think maybe I don't know if it was the weather, people sat inside and watched it, or people heard about it throughout the day, how exciting it was, clips. But yeah, it was pretty it's pretty cool to watch, obviously, and got great viewership, which is cool.
Yeah, it's
there's
cool.
like lots of global stuff too, guys. Like saying F1 need to take a lesson after OzGP this year. Like it's gone very viral, the whole thing.
But our racing, to be honest, like that was exceptional. But our racing is always fairly good. Like some tracks don't good, but that was obviously a really good race. But I think our racing generally is better than something like F1. Like they rarely ever pass. Where compared to sort of sorry, my cat's just got in a fight over there. They're arguing, but stop it, Baloo. He's killing the other one. Yeah, nah. So it was cool, but yeah, mega weekend. There's so much we could go through, but it'd be cool to get some other people's insights and what they thought of the weekend and their favorite battles and all that sort of stuff because there was so many out there. But the other thing, I don't know about. It's a tough one when the leader crosses the line at the Bathurst 1000 and doesn't win it. I think.
Did you think that was worth a penalty or not?
I haven't
Yes
watched
or
it
no?
back. I
I'll give
haven't
my
watched
answer.
it back enough times. I'm gonna go no.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no as well. And the only reason why I say no is because I feel like we've got this pretty bad thing at the moment with it's okay to run someone off at the track on an exit, but it's not okay to do what James did. And like, yeah, there was overlap, but sufficient overlap. I mean, it's for the biggest race of the year, and that's not an excuse, and it's not a way to, I guess, judiciate the race. But I don't know how we can allow some things and not that. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like you say, people say it's not okay because the biggest race of the year, but I really think it is. Like it's the biggest race of the year. You got to let some small things go, and I didn't think it was that bad. Like he had overlap. Cooper didn't just leave him room. Like Cooper could see he was coming up the inside, and a lot of the time you leave a little bit of room. He's racing for the biggest race.
Hang
of
on
the
a
year.
second. Could you see out your mirrors? Or
Well, that's true. You can't see out your mirrors. So he might not have. I couldn't see out mine
Yeah.
because my side mirror was blocked. But then that's no excuse to say that because he couldn't see out his mirrors, he turned in. Like that's another excuse to say that Jimmy should be allowed off as well. Because usually if someone had like the overlap Jimmy had and coming in that hot, you do leave him a bit of room, don't you? So you don't spin out.
I know, well, because you obviously don't want to ruin your race, but at the same time, I couldn't see out of my side mirrors were completely useless. And if I had someone behind me, I was hoping they had their headlights on. And if I could see their headlights in the braking zone, I was safe. But if I couldn't see headlights, that means they were either crashing into me or trying to pass me.
Well, I was actually telling Andrew Edwards, just tell me the gap behind every sector. Like, are they a tenth off me? Are they 5 tenths off me? Because I couldn't see anything. So he'd just see the sector time and say, yep, they're 1 second behind, and I'd know they're not going to pass me. But if they were 2 tenths behind, I'd know they're close because I couldn't see if anyone was down my inside or anyone was trying to pass me. Like, I could have just turned across someone down the straight and made the biggest crash ever, and I wouldn't have even known they were there. I don't know if that is an excuse though for turning in. Like it's an excuse, but then that's also an excuse for Jimmy to say, well, he couldn't see me there. I was there. Why'd he turn in? Because usually what you do at turn 2, if you could see, he would have just like gone a little bit wider, run around the outside and had the inside for the cutting, which probably wouldn't have worked because it was grippier on the inside in the wet. But I don't know. I feel like it was disappointing the way that worked out, but Jimmy did such a good job. And D-Russ, we've obviously known D-Russ for so long. He co-drove for you. I was really hoping they got it.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool for D-Russ, but I guess, not really sure, but if it was worth the penalty, I see Ains has got here that the Golding penalty versus Brody penalty different times. Mine was definitely worth the drive through, so that's no question about that one. I tried to send him back to orange with how far I drove Kai into turn 1. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was Golding was probably worth the penalty, but if it was, I thought 5 seconds was probably fair, but not sure if it was worth one. And then Dave Reynolds last lap almost stole out of the cutting.
I was hoping. That was cool. I was like, come on, Davey, get it done. That was, I think Matt Payne used the thing I couldn't see as well. So he just ran him wide, but I don't know again.
Yeah. Like it's crazy to think that, that 3 people were basically in contention for it on the last lap. If you take Golding's penalty out of it, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I couldn't believe it. But there was before that, there was 4 or 5 in contention for it because you had Cooper there racing for it as well. And then you had Reynolds coming up. Like you had cars just everywhere racing for it after 1,000 kilometres. I know we have safety cars and all that, but even when there wasn't safety cars for 15 laps, no one just pulled away. Like it wasn't usually someone just gapped the whole field.
No. Well, in the dry it was going to be pretty stagnant. But I think, the rain definitely put on a good show, and it always does every time it rains there.
How was Chaz just breaking down and cracking a tin?
I would have done the same thing.
Literally, yeah, you would have. I would have. I thought, we'll see him at the end of the race. He'll be in boardies there drinking beers still, but he went back down to the team and caught up with them. But yeah, is it a rule? You hop out of the car out there, you're out for the race, aren't you?
I believe so.
I think that's the rule because I was like, imagine if they got the car fixed and they're like, yeah, let's head back out there. And he's like, sorry, boys, I've had a beer. I can't get back out there.
That's actually a really good point.
Well, when I was watching it, I brought it up with my team. I'm like, imagine if they get it back there and it's just like an alternator failure like you or something basic. And then, they literally want him to go.
He's been drinking.
Motorsport Australia's like, no, mate, you've been drinking. You can't go. Could you get Fabian to do the first 2 hours and then breatho yourself and be like, I only had 1 beer, I'm under. I'm going to get back out there.
I mean, you could. You could,
It was
but I
only a
don't think
mid-strength. It's not like it was a heavy, so surely that
I
gets
don't
you
think
off.
they'd allow it, right? They'd be like, they'd go all politically correct and say, no, you've had one on TV, you're benched.
Imagine that on TV, him drinking a beer, and then 2 hours later, him back in the car. That would have been the funniest thing I've ever seen. If they're like, "No, he's reading 0 on the breathalyzer. Off you go."
Oh my God.
So what's with this and you and smoking meats now?
Me and smoking meats. Well, Dave Ellis knows the guys from Traeger, and they're legends. On the weekend, they were awesome. They came and cooked for our whole team, so they did all smoked meat in the back, and they did it throughout the race as well, like pork belly bites, chicken, all this stuff. And last year I got a Traeger, and I started doing a bit of smoking. But it was cool that they came along, and we were stirring Reynolds up. You know what he's like. All he eats is meat. He has like a ribeye with eggs for breakfast, and that's all he eats. So we were stirring him up, and then we were planning on giving him a Traeger. We're thinking about it, and then we saw him get a podium, and we're like, okay, we need to give him one. But yeah, it was cool to have those guys like that. That industry, like the smoking meats industry, is out of control. Like the amount of people that started commenting on my stuff who are into it and everything. So it was cool to have them down there, and I think the team loved it. They said it was the best meal any of them have ever had at the track. They did like a brisket for dinner and some other stuff on the first night. So yeah, it was really cool to have them cooking for us all weekend. What else? We got anything else here, Ains? What have we missed anything?
Mm-mm.
I feel like we've jumped over the race pretty fast because we had to get through it a bit quicker today. But yeah, it's there's just endless.
And whose fault's that, Will?
Yeah, well, I forgot. I woke up last night. I was up for 2 hours and just thinking, oh God, Bathurst got the better of me again. Couldn't sleep. And then I fell back asleep. But to my defense is that you guys said 8:00. I was 8:00 New South Wales time, so 7:00.
No, we didn't.
We said 7,
We said 7.
Oh
like 15 times.
shit. No, I don't know then. Had me turn my alarm off. I'm not sure.
Righty, that is episode 8 of Lucky Dogs. Thank you everyone for listening, and everyone that slid into my DMs and called me a wanker. Really appreciate it. I'm glad I really feel your thoughts for the day. And to all the people that also came up to us this weekend and said that they enjoyed the podcast, that was really cool to see. Did you have a lot of people come up to you, Will, throughout the weekend with the podcast?
Yeah. I had a fair few people actually come up and say they're loving listening to it. Which Ains, we may be getting merch. Is that a thing?
Yes,
Oh.
we will.
Merch may be coming, guys. So let us know if you really want it because we need to order numbers and start getting it all in. I think we'll do hats and t-shirts. That's about it. So let us know.